Once upon a time, in the heart of Ghana, where the golden stool symbolizes the soul of a people, there lived a prince who dared to love beyond the laws of his fathers. His name was Kwame Mensah, heir to the throne, warrior in spirit, and a man whose heart bowed only to love. The woman he chose was Akua, an orphan, shunned by tradition, called Nakafo, the outcast blood. For centuries, no royal dared to cross that line. But Kwame believed love was stronger than the chains of old customs. The king warned him. The elders cursed his choice. The chief priest spoke of disaster. Yet the prince stood firm. He would rather lose the golden stool than lose Akua. And so, when the festival drums faded and the palace walls turned cold, Kwame made his choice. In the dead of night, he took her hand and fled toward the dark forest. But the king was not a man to be defied. He sent his strongest guards to bring the prince back, by persuasion if possible, by force if necessary. This is the story of a love that defied a kingdom, a tradition, and even the gods themselves. It all began during Akua KC, the grand royal festival held every 5 years to honor the Asanteheni's heir. The palace courtyard glowed with gold ornaments. Chiefs in Kenti sat in a half-circle, their linguists by their side. Drums thundered, ivory trumpets sang, and the air smelled of palm wine and roasted goat. On the great dais, King Kofi Mensah, tall and broad-shouldered, sat proudly on the royal stool. His voice, deep as a war drum, silenced the crowd. "My people," he began, "today my son, Prince Kwame, will present to you the woman who will be queen when I am gone." Cheers filled the air. The women whispered, curious. The men watched with pride. Kwame stepped forward, tall, dark, and confident. He smiled, his gold necklace glinting in the sun. "I thank you all," he said. "It is time I show you the woman I love. Her name is Akua." Heads turned. Murmurs replaced cheers. "Akua? Which Akua?" Then she appeared. Slim, caramel-skinned, with bright eyes and grace like a river's flow. Gasps erupted. "She is Nakafo," shouted one elder. "An outcast. Cursed blood." The festival joy turned to murmurs of outrage. The king's face darkened. The Akan elders believed the Nakafo were descendants of people once dedicated to the gods as living sacrifices. Though generations had passed, the stigma remained. They were forbidden to marry freeborns, let alone royals. Elder Kwaku's voice boomed. "Prince Kwame, you know our laws. The Nakafo bring curses. No child of theirs may sit on the golden stool." Kwame's eyes burned. "Must we remain chained by the mistakes of the past? We all bleed the same red blood." The king's voice was heavy. "Son, a cow does not run toward a lion's den and expect to live. If you do this, you bring trouble to the whole kingdom." The chief priest, Nana Yeboah, stepped forward, shaking his staff. "Break this taboo and the gods will turn against us." Kwame turned to Akua. She stood silent, head bowed. Few knew her story. She had been an orphan since childhood. Her mother had died when she was 12, leaving her only a small, wrapped bundle with the words, "When the day of greatest danger comes, open this." Akua had never opened it. The days that followed were filled with arguments, counsel, and pleading. The king tried reason. The elders tried threats. One evening, the king said quietly, "If you marry her, you will lose your right to the stool. And if misfortune comes to her, you will carry it forever in your heart." Akua's foster parents, fearing for their lives, begged her to end things. Tears filled her eyes. "If I stay, he will lose everything. If I leave, my heart will break." At dawn, she went to Kwame and told him it was over. He saw the pain in her eyes and knew it was a lie. That night, he made his decision. Under the cover of darkness, Kwame slipped from the palace. His sandals barely made a sound on the dirt path. He reached the small hut where Akua lived. She sat by a dim lantern, tears on her cheeks. "Pack your things," he whispered. "We leave now." Fear flashed in her eyes. "Kwame, they will come after us. They will have to catch me first," he said with a smile. They left through the narrow footpaths, the sound of crickets and the rustling of leaves their only witnesses. The following morning, the sun had barely risen when a palace guard rushed into the royal courtyard. "Your Majesty, the prince is gone." King Kofi Mensa shot to his feet. "Gone? Where?" "With the Nakafo girl, Akua," the guard stammered. The king's face darkened like a gathering storm. "Sound the drums. Gather my best warriors. Bring them back unharmed if possible, but bring them back." Messengers ran to summon the fighters. Spears were sharpened, shields lifted. In less than an hour, 5 warriors marched out of the palace gates, their sandals raising dust on the forest path far ahead. Deep inside the Abuyui forest, the moon hung low over the dense Aburi forest, its silver light casting long shadows on the narrow footpath. Prince Kwame Mensa's breath came in short bursts as he tightened his grip on Akua's hand. Behind them, heavy footsteps and the clanging of spears grew louder. The king had sent his most trusted guards to bring his son back to the palace alive if possible, but by force if necessary. "Kwame, they're getting closer," Akua whispered, her voice trembling. "Keep running," he said, determination flashing in his eyes. "We are not going back." Suddenly, 3 guards blocked the path ahead. The leader pointed at them. "Prince Kwame, by the king's command, you must return." "I will not," Kwame said, stepping forward. "And she stays with me." The tension is heavy. The battle is about to begin. But now I ask you, do you think Kwame can defeat the king's guards? Will Akua stand by his side till the end? And what hidden truth lies ahead about the golden stool? This is where we end part 1. Subscribe to African Folktale by Zamper so you won't miss the answers in part 2.